if I were to take this product and bring it into my practice and have my patients or clients get on it, how am I going to measure this? Now, I also am an epigeneticist. I've been in practice over 40-some years. Functional medicine is my primary aspect that I do. I'm also a chiropractor, also have counseling degrees and psychology degrees, all these other factors. But here's where I'm at is how does this affect the results? So we are, in our healthcare clinic, we are results-based medicine is the way I describe that. If I'm going to initiate something, I should be able to predetermine the potentiation of the results or the outcome of that treatment, of that protocol. And so I've designed protocols for doctors all around the world with that mindset, that mentality. So when I took this product, I said, all right, if this is going to hit the bitter receptors and this is going to start doing all these aspects of it, what can I watch and see and measure? So I can do it with blood work, I can do it with saliva, I can even do it with urine, but those aren't things you're going to do on a weekly basis. Well, urine, I can do that a lot on a weekly basis, but how am I going to measure what happens? So as I sit down and looked at all the different systems that were fat regulated, fat based, I said, all right, I'm going to watch what happens. And we designed all these measurements and all the ways that we could see what was happening. And then we went through a whole bunch of, I laid out about 40 different questions and kind of lumped them down into 20 different categories. I said, these are the things I'm going to watch, and these are the things I'm going to measure, and these are the things I'm going to observe and keep track of on all these different people that we start this on, right? And so we did. And all of a sudden, we started getting what I call the freakish results. Now, in my brain, there's two different terms I call freakish. One is freakish, I didn't expect that, or freakish that was way greater than I expected. And then there's the near close to miraculous. And so in the first couple of weeks, I saw some of the freakish results, meaning things like this, you lose 2 pant sizes in 32 days, you're dropping all this weight. I started mine on July 3rd when I got my product. And real quick, like for me, go forward here almost 6 months, I'm down over 25 inches on my body, 3 jean sizes, pant sizes, 2 shirt sizes, and I'm continuing to lose it. Now, there's a thing that we call the selective prioritization of the body, which means the body will change and model itself as it's going through the adaptive acclimatory rate of weight loss or fat loss, right? And since we're really burning fat here, that's going to be the key thing. One of the things that I didn't have enough data, even though I studied the 12, 14, 16, 18-week researches that they had, we knew about what to expect from the weight size. We knew how to break down the subcutaneous adipose tissue, the visceral adipose tissue, the muscle adipose tissue, the bone marrow muscle adipose tissue, the adipose tissue in the lungs, and all these different areas on the body. But that was really on a limited basis, right? Because the research that has been done was real good research, some of the highest caliber research that can be done, what we call the RCT research, but it wasn't long enough for us to have a real good understanding of the longevity of what it was. Now, in the research, I talked about the efficacy and the potency of the MH3, what it actually did, and that it never lost its potency. So that was really good news for me. So I postulated that in probably 3 to 4 months, when I hit those 12, 16 to 18 week timeframes, I'm going to start going into the unknown, right? Because we haven't had any beyond that in the research itself. So let me kind of tell you what I saw. Now let's go through that 3 to 4 months of research or actual application of hundreds of people that I'm watching on this now, right? I have the freakish results where some people get results quick. I've had some people lose 9 pounds in 8 days. That's unusual, right? I've got other people that weren't losing any. In fact, they gained 8 pounds in the first couple of weeks. That's freakish. Again, that's unusual. But when I started diving into the results I was seeing and the people I was observing and watching and monitoring, I came across what I'm going to call 3 categories of groups, right? One is that we get the freakish, almost miraculous, right, where the body has to deal with something, right? Then we got to the second category, where it took about 4 to 8 weeks before we started seeing some things kick in. And then we got to the third category, which takes about 10 to 12 weeks before the body kicks in. Now, what I did is I went back and I looked at the causation of obesity. And when we talked about in the research that came out in August, that 79.8% of Americans, all right, between the age 20 and 90 are in 1 of 4 stages of obesity: pre-obese, obese 1, 2, and then what's called severe or morbid obese. And in my brain, as a functional medicine doc, I'm going, that's called disease or sickness. right? So when I looked at that phase, I said, what's going to happen in the long-term aspect here? Once I get the body kind of go through its cleanup mechanism and we can start making things do what we think it's going to do, right? What's going to be the result? How fast will we lose girth? How fast will we break down these adipose tissues that are in the fat rancidity? And that's what really got intriguing to me. So when I looked at this from the beginning and I had my hypothesis, I had my postulations and potentiations, we didn't have very many people in the product, right? Now let's fast forward 6 months later, right? 30,000 plus people on their product. And I tell people, and we've been saying this for a long time, this is no longer in theory, right? We have thousands and thousands of people that have been on this product and we know these expectations. So as Cecilia and them and Celine were talking about it, excuse me, Celine and Celine, when you gals were talking about it, I kept hearing a lot of the things I'm hearing a lot of people say. Their sleep is better, their energy's better, they don't need naps, they're not snoring, they're breathing better, they have the stomach is getting smaller. In other words, they can't eat like they used to eat. And here's the interesting thing is she was saying that she only has to eat once a day. That's because the body is burning all that stored fuel. And when we look at it, I look at where we are at this time of the world and this time of the year, meaning a lot of people are going through this unhealthy time of eating through the holiday season. And then we're going to turn that corner and come January 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we're going to start making New Year's resolutions to get healthy again, or to lose weight, or to feel better. And we're going to try to do something that has evidently been hard for this body to do. So when I started looking at what this research was showing me and the results that I'm seeing, all of a sudden, now that we're into the 6-month time frame, and I'm seeing that longevity, how the body is continuing to break these things down. And whether we talk about the calories that are being burnt or the fat that's being burnt, the end game is the body is dynamically changing and adapting to what this unique mature hops extract, these bitter acids do. But here's what we didn't foresee, right? We didn't foresee some of these radical changes that the body was going to go through. We didn't see the miraculous things that were coming in. And yet it's some of these early bird people, and as an epigeneticist, when I look at the DNA, some people are more gifted, if you will, in that DNA world, that it can do it better than others who don't have that unique genome or ability to do that. But it's almost like we're building bridges. So when I look at the people that didn't have the fast results in the first 4 to 8 weeks, or they're the category it took 10 to 12 weeks before it turned on, because now we're far enough to witness that. What we found, according to that research, is those who will stick with it, they're going to speed up. In other words, it's as if the body finally builds the bridge that was missing, and now the body has the ability to do what almost seems like the unthinkable, unfathomable. It's burning all those toxic fats up first. So in the different stages, whether it's class 1, class 2, or class 3 of the obesity phase, there's a lot of different toxins that are in there, right? And when we look at those toxins, as they're burning down, we're seeing past evidences of things that probably set that body off now being handled or burnt up or getting rid of and eradicated out of the body. So people like that have these thyroid issues, specifically hypothyroidism. When I looked at the original research, it was one of the few that they didn't see as many results on because of the dose was low. When we look at the dose that we have within our pHix, it's high enough to override that inability that they didn't have back then. And that is what's pretty phenomenal. And when you take that, the thyroid is responsible for about 80% of all the hormones in the body, and you go back into regulating that and getting that to fix itself, pun intended, to start to fix those things, all of a sudden the body goes back to its God-given ability to repair or to generate that healthy life. When we look at what's called the righting reflex within the body, or Wolff's Law, that law says I want to survive at everything possible, right, to make things in the right way to make it happen. And for me, guys and gals, what I'm seeing is this is turning that phase back on. When I go back up to how it hits into the vagal nerve, hits the vagus nerve, hits the all these different things in the parasympathetic, sympathetic nervous system, and we're watching all of these changes. I mean, some of them, they are on the miraculous side. As a physician, you're going, how in the world did that happen? So we go chase it back and we find how whatever that was unique in that body, it's cleaning those things back up. So here I am at 6 months into this, and I'm seeing these hundreds and hundreds of people that were seeing so many phenomenal results. And the biggest thing that's happening here, Byron, is that people's lives are changing. And not only is the physical body changing, but the mental part of that body is changing, which means now they think better or think differently better, and they're getting better results. They're making better choices, and they're moving towards health instead of running from sickness and disease. And when I look at this, and here's kind of one of my challenges to people, my challenge is this: between now and next month, when we go through all this, New Year's resolution, getting healthier, getting better, what's the wake-up call? Because when I look at people who are so overweight, 8 out of 10 Americans, right, that it's almost like they don't hurt bad enough to do something, or they're not sick enough to do something. And this is what we see happening this season. People eat like they don't normally eat for 11 months, and they overeat, they overconsume, they get sick, they get too much sugar, the immune system crashes, and now they have a reason to want to get well. Well, guess what we have? We have that reason, right? And we have that tool. I've never had a tool like this in my 40 years of practice, and I've never had a tool like something even close to this give me this much result this fast. And I'm excited to see what happens this time next year, because we're going to have so many more lives that have been changing. I mean, I myself, I've been in this world almost 68 years, and I've been in the healthcare world for over 40 years, and I'm watching those changes even within my own body. So let alone my other loved ones and everybody else I'm dealing with. So